welcome back to my channel. My name is Whitney Holcomb. I am a writer, model, and author of the book, 1 Year, 100 Pounds. So for those of you who are new here, I lost 100 pounds on my own when I was 14 years old, and then I wrote a book about it. So today's video topic is about plus size models and whether it's a good thing that we are now being more inclusive in fashion and commercialism, or whether it's a bad thing. Are they contributing to an unhealthy lifestyle? Do I think that promoting obese or plus size models is glorifying obesity? And I think that it's kind of an interesting perspective coming from me because I was a former fat girl, former obese girl who lost weight, and I was also a model. So I think that I have a kind of a unique perspective. So let me first start by telling a story about myself when I was an obese teen. Uh, so growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, there was not a lot of options for plus size fashion, especially not for children, because again, childhood obesity, it wasn't as rampant as it is today. Unfortunately, I think it's only getting worse, but there wasn't a lot of options. So or rather my parents, dressed me in, these ugly black tights and a big oversized gray t-shirt every single day. Yeah, not attractive, not cute, but a big reason was because it was the only thing that fit me at the time. Also, I don't know, I guess it was my parents not really thinking of how well that would go down at school. It didn't go down very well at school. Kids were, bullying me for that. Another thing to add to the roster of things that I got made fun of for. But yeah, I always wanted to wear normal clothes like all the other kids. I always wanted to be pretty, but I just felt that wasn't possible for me. And there was not a lot of representation with bigger women, especially, bigger teens or young girls. All the movies you saw, everyone was skinny and pretty. The only time a fat girl was featured was if she was the butt of the joke, or if she was, at best, if she was the funny fat friend, but sometimes even she'd be the bully. So yeah, that was the only time that a fat person was ever really represented. And as you can imagine, being a young girl, I internalized a lot of that. So I just didn't think that being fashionable was in the cards for me. And I just didn't think that, clothes were made for me. But anyways, fast forward to, I want to say sometime in middle school maybe, and I'm with my mom to a store called Lane Bryant. And I had never heard of this store before, but I don't know how long it had been around, but first time I'd ever heard of it or we'd ever discovered it, I was in middle school, but it was a plus size clothing store for those of you who are not familiar. And it was a plus size clothing store that not only featured beautiful plus size models in all of its advertising, but all the clothes were really cute. So they made normal clothes, but for bigger women. And for me, that was like, I'd never seen such a thing. And I thought, this is amazing. I mean, you can't imagine, or maybe you can if you're also overweight like me, but it was just such an exciting feeling to walk into a store, to see something cute, and then to know that it would fit me. So, I think that was such a pivotal time in my life, or moment in my life, because even though I was still overweight, I felt like, okay, well, I can at least be a little bit fashionable, and it made me feel more, like a woman, like a girl, because now I didn't just have to wear these ugly tights and oversized t-shirts. So yeah, I mean, I thought that was just great. And here I was in this supportive atmosphere, and the women who worked there, some of them were bigger, some weren't, but it was this totally, friendly atmosphere where I could, no one was judging me, and I could wear beautiful clothes and feel beautiful. And again, the models in those advertisements were gorgeous. So yeah, and it was an exciting moment. So now that I discovered the store and I had these new clothes, it really helped my confidence a lot. And again, I was still overweight and, still didn't like that part about myself and still bullied, but knowing that there was a place for me, or feeling accepted, was such a foreign feeling to me at the time. And it helped boost my confidence, because again, I felt like I could, kind of be pretty now, right? And I really think, because again, this was middle school, so a couple years before I made the decision to lose weight, I think this definitely played some kind of part in me being able to make that decision, if that makes sense, because I was in a better headspace. So one was that I think I felt more confident because of these clothes, and two, like I think I talked about in a different video, I was able to make a core group of friends in that year that 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 helped me make this decision that was healthy for me, that changed my life forever. It was this positive reinforcement, or positive feeling and acceptance that I believe was very significant in me being able to get into the headspace and make the decision that would change my life, and that was ultimately the better decision for me. I think this story is important to tell because I do see a lot of the backlash now against the different inclusivity that we see now in the media. Um, and I want to first start by saying I don't think there is anything wrong with having plus size models out there. I don't think that making clothes for bigger girls or bigger guys is, somehow encouraging them to stay fat or to get fatter. I think that's insane. I think that most normal people do not want to be fat. I think that they all know they have a problem and they want to fix it, but that doesn't mean that they should not look good while doing it or while they're in the process. It doesn't mean that they should be treated as less than because they're bigger than other people. I think that, while obesity is definitely a big issue now, and it's worse than ever has been because of our lifestyle factors. And while I think that I really hope that changes and people take charge of their health, there will always be people who are bigger, and sometimes that's lifestyle. I mean, sometimes those are things that they can't control, right? People get sick, they get pregnant. Look, things happen, weight fluctuates. So I just don't think it's fair to say that just because you're not a certain weight, you shouldn't be allowed to wear cute clothes, or clothes shouldn't be made for you. I also don't think it's fair that just because you're a certain weight, you can't be considered beautiful. Look, everyone, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm not saying that you need to find all fat people attractive. No, I mean, you do what you want to do. You have, it's your life. You believe what you want to believe. But also, why are you so upset when there is a big girl or a big guy who is feeling themselves and wants to be pretty? Like, it's just mind your business. So no, I don't think that representation in that aspect is somehow encouraging other people to be fat or stay fat. I if anything, I think it probably makes these people feel seen and heard, and maybe, like me, will give them the confidence to do something about it if they want to. Or just at the very least, it's just going to make them feel more like a person. So that is one view, or one aspect of plus size models. The one thing I don't like, and this is going to be controversial to some. I don't know why, because it's just science, but I don't like necessarily the fat acceptance movement, particularly when they talk about health at every size, because it's not true. And what I don't like in advertising, for example, this was a big one in the news, you probably know what I'm talking about, but it was a Cosmopolitan cover of an obese woman on the cover, and she was in workout clothes or whatever, which is fine. But the title, the slogan next to it said, "This is healthy." And it was, meant to infer that health at every size. You can be 300 pounds and eating hamburgers every single day and you're still healthy. No, no, that's not right. That is just, it's not right. And I don't care. You don't even have to be eating hamburgers every single day, but if you're 300 pounds, you're not healthy. Okay. You're just not, unless you are, like a 6'4" linebacker. I don't know. And you're not going to change my mind on this. This is facts. And again, this is coming from someone who was overweight herself, never that heavy, but I know that I was not healthy even at 230 pounds. I know what it took to get to 230 pounds. You're never gonna convince me that it wasn't just an unhealthy lifestyle and eating too much. Anyway, but so that is the one aspect I don't like, just how I think it is, it's not safe, or it's not beneficial to society, or to especially young children, to see very thin anorexic looking models on a magazine cover. Um, I don't necessarily think that we should have women or men um, who are promoting obesity as a healthy lifestyle. So I think it's different when you are just showing a plus size model or woman or man, um, or an obese woman or whatever, and they're just, look, hey, they're modeling clothes that are meant for people who are that size. That's one thing. It's one thing to put that woman on a cover and then say that she's healthy and say that it's okay to be this way. Well, it's not. Um, it's not. And I know that people can go on and on about how, okay, well, even skinny people are not healthy, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, you can be skinny and also be unhealthy. But for the most part, your weight really does. Weight is just such a telling factor in your health. It just is. And you know, again, you can be a normal weight person or a skinny person and not be healthy, but it's not because of your weight. Let's just say that. So if you are fat, um, you are unhealthy simply for the fact that you are fat. And obesity in itself causes issues. It may, you may be young right now and it may not be causing too much issues now, but it will later down the road. I guarantee you. Um, so yeah, those are just, that's my views. You know, inclusivity is great. Having more, different types of models out there is great, I think. Brands are allowed to do whatever they want, whether they want to showcase thinner people, bigger people, disabled people, that's up to them. And why should you care? The only thing I don't like is, when they're trying to tell people and lying to the public that somehow being fat is healthy. It's not. Anyhow, those are my thoughts. And again, I can say this from the perspective of someone who was fat. But anyhow, if you like this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. Do you agree with me? And if not, why? I'd be curious, to hear. So if you'd like to hear more videos like this and hear more about my story as well as my weight loss and motivational tips, then subscribe and tune in next time.